Eddie Howe was alone as he set off on Newcastle United's lap of appreciation, but it did not seem like it. Not after the home support rallied around the head coach and his side, with a repeated chance of Eddie Howe's black and white army after the final home game of the season against West Ham. The same chorus rang out when players, staff and families walked around the ground after qualifying for the Champions League in 2 of the previous 3 years, but this particular reception, a number of supporters who stayed behind at St James's Park stuck with Newcastle head coach following his most difficult season at the club yet. It felt as if Newcastle rediscovered a semblance of momentum in the final throes of a draining campaign after picking up 7 points for a possible 9. However, there was still one match left to play. That was still time to come, and an all too familiar reversion to type against Fulham on the final day as the visitors suffered a 17th defeat in their campaign. No wonder a few heads were bowed when players and staff trudged towards the away end after a 2-0 loss, feeling like Groundhog Day. There's been a lot of bruises this season, Howe said. That's an understatement. It was hardly a surprise that earlier in May, owners, executive and leasing figures plotted how to bounce back during an annual summit in Northumberland. We're in a moment right now where they want to understand why we're doing what we're doing and how to fix it, a senior source said. Rather than reacting emotionally, though, those at the top have sought to address what's gone wrong with the help of through disproportionate analysis. Some big changes are coming, and this squad will look different when the next season kicks off. There remains a gap in valuation between Bayern Munich and Newcastle, who will only sell on their terms, but Anthony Gordon eventually left for Barcelona. Factoring potential outgoings, Newcastle could need a goalkeeper, fullback, midfield and a couple of forwards at bare minimum. Having grown frustrated with recurring on-the-field issues, it's been very clear that Newcastle mapping out what's required. It will take more than a few new faces alone. Howe has pointed to examples of other clubs climbing the table following some smart recruitment. The head coach has been viewed as part of the diagnosis and the situation going into a crucial summer rebuild led by sporting director Ross Wilson. In some ways it will not come as a huge shock. The man who ended Newcastle's 70-year wait for a domestic trophy only last season by winning the Carabao Cup, but standards have fallen and there is a recognition internally that this season hasn't been good enough. Just as you never quite know what to do expect from this team, the same is true of how he's been left scrambling for a formula. The bar needs to reset following his worst domestic campaign yet at Newcastle. It's someone who you need to address very quickly, and we need to address it, said Howe. Newcastle have rediscovered their heads. They were once notable an ability to finish off the opposition. No other team threw away fewer points than Newcastle from leading positions in the previous season. Howe could so often count on Alexander Isak to be the scoring net an equaliser and extend the lead before his obviously high-profile move to Liverpool. By contrast, leaky Newcastle squandered the most points from winning positions in the top flight and conceded the most goals in the final 15 minutes of the campaign. A once fierce team has become flaky, unlike Europa League winners Aston Villa, who immediately exited both domestic cups early in Newcastle. Howe's men struggled with the challenge of faulting on multiple fronts for so much of the season. Although there were brief glimpses of belated evolution far too late in the campaign, the easing of the schedule in recent weeks has not led to a lasting turnaround. It's been a real slog, and the first time the dressing room has experienced a mentally draining 58-game season. It's not been easy, one regular said. Even the coaching staff didn't feel like they could truly savour victories due to the constant swing of games. Newcastle were never able to go on the sort of defining run they'd enjoyed last year, where 71% of their league defeats were by a single goal. Howe needs to swiftly find a way to get these back on side, and it feels a reset is required. There's a patience and understanding, but I don't think people will be forgiving if it continues on for a second season. Newcastle will have to get the summer right following a turbulent window. The club missed out on a host of first choice targets. There was no chief executive or sporting director. Clubs such as Brentford and Bournemouth, who have been rebuilding smartly, kind of took advantage of that. One defender saw has been an unqualified success, but because of the relentless schedule they've needed more than that. Jacob Ramsey only had a brief window of Howe's training sessions before fixtures piled up, and the midfield was understood to have found a high level of intensity of running drills to be kind of demanding. It was a snapshot of the adjustment period so many new signings go through to find their feet in Newcastle. Howe hopes last season's arrivals were better for the experience as Newcastle look to reverse the trend moving forward. Although the head coach has outperformed teams with bigger wage bills in years gone by, he ended up finishing behind some this year, including bitter rivals Sunderland, which will be a kind of tough one to take, especially watching them in Europe. So yeah, Newcastle really do need to come back stronger next season.
Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.